I'll start it off. Bilal. Let's just talk about Bilal first. His imprint on the game, all over the place defensively, steals, blocks, deflections, made obviously the big play late, but he did it from the very beginning. And that's what we talked about as a group. We talked about this before the game with you guys a little bit. We were 3 for 19 in the first half from 3. It didn't stop us from guarding, defending, hustling, scrapping. Sometimes you have to grind out games in the NBA. We grinded that one out because of our defense, and Bilal was the head of that for sure tonight. You guys got questions? Go ahead.
Brian, what specifically did you think made Bilal as effective as he was defensively there? Was it technique? Was it effort? Was it?
He used his gifts that he has, but it was also his mentality. No possessions off, contested every pass, every dribble, every shot, pressured their main player. I thought it was just a terrific all-around effort from him, and it wasn't about scoring. It was just he was doing what his job was necessary to help us win the game, and then he obviously made a couple plays there late, made a big 3, but it was his defense that set the tone for the whole team.
What did you think was key to the comeback there? You guys were trailing, I think, 16 midway through that third quarter.
Team win. Look at our bench, what they did, the contributions of all the guys who came in, Tristan, Cam, JC, Bub. I don't know what the total points they had, but I think it was pretty high. They all contributed, and they sustained us going to the fourth quarter, got us back in the game. Thought those guys were terrific in both halves tonight. It was a total team win. Nice job by those guys.
Going back to Bilal and his defense on Giannis, and I know when it comes to a player of that magnitude, it's not just a one-on-one matchup that you speak to, but his ability and mindset tonight seemed different than what we've seen in the past. It almost seemed like he took this a little bit more personal in the sense of, like, I'm going to make it as difficult as possible on you tonight, and then subsequently fouling him out of the game on that play. Just where has his mindset shift come from, especially in these last, 5 or 6 games?
You know, he's just getting his rhythm. He's getting back. You know, he missed the whole preseason with us, all the training in September. So he's just kind of getting his rhythm back, but that's what he's capable of doing. He's done that in multiple games here lately. Tonight, he was the one who put the imprint on the game to get everybody going, and you saw it from the very get-go. It was a really impressive performance by him.
From an offensive standpoint, the way that the others, if you will, you mentioned, Bub, JC, Cam, the way they just kind of maintained a composure throughout, knowing that if we can get it to the fourth quarter and we're close, the OGs in a way can kind of help us take it over the edge. What does that resiliency in them look like, especially from a defensive mindset? To Josh's point, you were down 16 in the third quarter.
We just played possession by possession. We just focused on the next thing that was in front of us. And I give all the guys credit. They stayed focused on what their job was to do, calling out the coverage, executing the game plan. And then we kept trusting with the pass. Like, we were just missing some shots that were great shots in the first half. We said the tide will turn, just keep defending. And that showed good resilience on us, that not every game is perfect in the NBA. That just doesn't work that way. Our guys stayed with it, and they stayed with their mentality really defensively to keep us in that game. But great contributions by everybody tonight.
Coach, to Megan's point about the OGs, Chris and CJ, especially there in the last 3 minutes or so, hit some very tough shots off of what looked like maybe broken plays. Can you just speak to their tough shot-making ability in situations like that?
Well, I think we could have a high rate reel for about 20 minutes of those guys doing that throughout their career. That's what they've been doing for a long time. Those guys are great players. Great players make great plays. We're really lucky to have both those guys within our organization.
I asked you about a pregame, and you mentioned briefly Marvin and Tristan specifically taking over front court duties with Alex gone. Can you take appraisal of their performance?
I mean, look at their production tonight. Look at what they did on the court. Contributions on both ends of the floor, defensively, offensive boards by Marvin, obviously. The scoring, big deal. I think they had 38 between them. We're pretty good.
You guys won the rebounding battle by 7, got a bunch of offensive rebounds. What were Justin Champagnie and Marvin Bagley able to do in that area in particular?
I mean, that's what I mean. Justin Champagnie is one of the best rebounders for his position in the league offensively, and Marvin's been doing this his whole career. That's what their strengths is, but I thought they even had a little extra tonight. Those guys were terrific.
Hey, Coach. It seemed like Cam Whitmore had a pretty mature approach to this game, too, picking his spots. How does this kind of performance sort of speak to the strides he's made since joining the Wizards?
Like I've said before, he's growing right, too. He's This is only his 3rd year in the league. We act like he's been around a long time, but now it's new for him, and he's with a new team. I think he's done a great job of adjusting into our environment and been terrific at how he works and how he gets after his craft. And then he's just getting used to playing with his teammates. So every game he's growing and learning how to play with these guys. Obviously, big contributions for him tonight on both sides of the ball. I was really pleased with him tonight.
Sure. And even if Keyshawn didn't have as many points as he usually did, Marvin did. What can you say to Keyshawn's ability to keep, feeding the big man towards the end there?
I think that was great. Keyshawn didn't have one of his better offensive games. He would be the first to admit that. But what he did late in that game showed unbelievable growth. He made some of those great dump-off passes, got in the paint, simple little passes to Marvin. He kept the scoreboard moving for us in the crunch. It wasn't just CJ and Chris. He was handling and making plays. From having a little bit, maybe a tough struggle offensively, he ended up having like 3 or 4 big assists down the stretch of the game that were huge. Big deal. You know, when things aren't going well, what are you going to do? And he just hit the stride late in the game. He stayed with it. It was terrific.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering, Giannis, obviously an imposing threat for the Bucks. What was the key to kind of maneuvering around him in this game?
You don't stop great players like this. These guys, these guys are a handful. There's a reason these guys are, MVPs, champions. We just try to make it as difficult as we can. I thought our guys battled, tried to make things contested. I think we took a couple charges on him, which we were talked about before game. You just try to make it as hard as you can, and I think, obviously Bilal was the one who started that.
Basically this morning they just told me you do whatever you want, but just stop him. So I did whatever I wanted. It was easy. It was easy to, do my thing. Good communication from the guys. Marv's been doing a great job too. We've been switching. He's been guarding him too, and he did great. So, yeah.
How would you describe your game plan with those guys?
It was just a feeling, it was just the feel for the game. When the screens were high, I was trying to go in there. Sometimes I was acting like I was about to go in there, but I was pressing him and was able to get some steals. So, I had to be really physical because he was.
Congratulations on both of you. Marvin, I want to ask you a question about being a free agent this offseason, spending half of last season with Washington. What brought you back to Washington?
This group, the group of guys that we have in this locker room, what we're trying to build and the steps that we took last year. I think, when the opportunity presented itself for me to, come back here, it was a no-brainer. I'm familiar with the system, familiar with these guys, and I just wanted to continue to, build on what we were doing last year and what we're trying to do moving forward. So I'm happy to be here. I'm enjoying it, and just trying to do, whatever I can to help the team win.
First one for Bilal. You guys didn't see your three-point shots fall in the first half. What was it like overcoming that to
We knew we had a bad first half shooting the ball, but we were not worried about it. We were trying to get in there and just fight defensively. That was the main thing, the main focus, and we did it good. And then the shots started falling. So.
And then for Marvin, the bench came up huge tonight. Justin, Cam, Tristan. What can you say about the way they gave you guys a lift?
It just goes to show, the work that, we all put in. Days where, you might have different lineups out there and different things going on. Some guys might play this game, some guys might not play the next game, and the mindset to stay ready and go out there and compete and do what they did tonight. That shows a lot to their mindsets and the work that they put in. So I'm super happy to see that. They definitely gave the team a lift, and it in turn gave us a W tonight.
This question is for both of you, please. Where do you see progress so far this season from a team perspective?
I feel like I'll say this all the time, when we do what we know what we're capable of doing, especially on the defensive end, a lot of things open up for us. And, I feel like doing that more consistently and game in, game out, and doing what we do and sticking to that. I think the last few games have been a lot of progress in that area. And, if we focus on those things, it'll put us in position to win these games. And that's why I see the growth. That's why I see the progress. And we still got a lot of work to do, but, it's definitely good to see progress in those areas.
Yeah, I'll say defensively, we've been a lot better. We've been locked in. Everybody's playing defense together. Everybody's in the right spot. So, yeah, it's been a lot better lately. And offensively, we're moving the ball well, except for last game. This game was a lot better, but the other ones were really good too. And that's what gets us easy baskets.
Yeah, in French. Bilal, ouais, cette dernière action sur Yanis, comment tu la classes dans ton top des meilleures actions en NBA? Parce qu'en plus, il y a la victoire au bout.
Haute, c'est certainement l'une des meilleures actions que j'ai faites, je pense. Surtout qu'il y a la victoire après. Le contexte était bien parce que pendant tout le match, je pense que j'étais vraiment solide en défense. Donc, je dirais plutôt haute quand même.
Et dans les joueurs sur lesquels tu as le plus défendu en NBA cette saison, je crois qu'il y a genre un meneur, un ailier fort. Est-ce que tu es fier déjà de cette polyvalence? Et sur quel type de profil peut-être tu es le plus à l'aise pour défendre? Ou tous peut-être?
Ça va, j'arrive à m'ajuster quand même à défendre sur tous les profils. Donc, je n'ai pas forcément de préférence. Et c'était quoi le début de la question déjà?
Est-ce que tu es fier de cette polyvalence défensive?
Ouais, franchement, je suis content. Je suis content qu'il me fasse confiance sur ça. Et il faut continuer maintenant.
You gotta teach me that.
All right, so
last week, you guys started the week off with the win, and then you guys went on the road, and unfortunately it was a loss. And so this week it's kind of the same situation. You have a win tonight, and now you're going on the road. How are you going to, or what can you change about what happened last week to improve better this week?
We can't worry about it. It's a next play mentality in this league. Even when we play well, we played well tonight. We did a lot of great things, but beauty of it, we have another one tomorrow. So, enjoy it for the rest of the night or however long you need to, and wake up and focus on Philly and just go out with try to do the same thing we did tonight, same mindset. Whatever the game plan is, stick to it and just do our best to go out there and execute it. So, having a next play mentality and just trying to do it, more consistent at a high level.
So obviously it was a hard-fought win. Even at the beginning of the game, it was a case where Milwaukee had the lead, but you were keeping it close. And at a certain point, it seemed that the game did plateau. So what exactly do you believe kicked in at the time the Wizards started making that run? What do you think, how much do you think preparation had to deal with that mentality that popped in and just took over from the rest of the game at that point?
I'd say it was the defense first. Being really physical. We were a lot better, I thought, in the second half, even when we were switching and all of that. We've been doing a really good job. So, defense just gave us easy baskets, easy transition basket, and then the vets at the end, they did a great job. Like CJ and Chris, their poise was crazy. Like, it was impressive. So, shout out to them.
Thank you. Finish with Karina. Go ahead.
Bilal, Coach, earlier, as it relates to your performance, he mentioned that you're starting to get your rhythm back just from missing the preseason and such. So what's your perspective on that, and what's that process been like for you?
It's been a little up and down, but I feel like I'm getting there. And I think I need a game like that, defensively being everywhere, offensively getting pretty easy baskets. I missed a lot today, but I felt really good about it. I say I'm getting my rhythm back, and on to the next one tomorrow now.
Marvin, for you really quick, fourth quarter execution's been something that all of your teammates has stressed, especially finishing down the stretch, and we've been seeing that come together. What would you say has contributed to how you guys are starting to finish the games?
Staying locked in. End of the game, every possession matters. The whole game, but especially when we get down to the end of the game, when we're trying to win a game, every single possession matters. And we did a great job of being locked in to every possession, doing what we are capable of doing, and we just try to stay locked into that and do it every possession in clutch time and crunch time, and we came out with the W tonight, and it's a great feeling. But like I said, we gotta go watch the film, enjoy this win, and get ready to go tomorrow.